Through 40 games, it's been smooth sailing for the 2007 New York Mets. Building on last year's division title, Willie Randolph's team is riding high a quarter of the way through, thanks to a winning blend of wily veterans and contributions from unlikely sources. Starting pitching that ranks first in the National League, a powerful offense, and charismatic stars have made the Mets a hot ticket and a marquee New York attraction. One day removed from a memorable comeback, the Mets ride a wave of momentum into the Subway Series against the Yankees. Despite weather that feels more like late October than mid-May, fans from both sides are flocking to Shea Stadium tonight for the start of the 2007 Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. A very different feeling to this one as the Mets come in riding high in first place with the best record in the National League, and the Yankees the furthest out of first place that they've been in 10 years. Old-timers and young stars both getting together as the Mets and Yankees renew acquaintances at Shea Stadium. At Shea Stadium in New York, the New York Mets play the New York Yankees. This Mets game on SNY is presented in high definition by IO Digital Cable, the leader in HD. Do you see in HD? And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Shea Stadium. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets and Yankees renew acquaintances. The Mets have won 10 and lost 8 against the Yankees the last 3 years. The Mets come in with their largest edge over the Yankees in the standings that they've ever had going into one of these series.
Well, you know, this is kind of interleague play here, and it kind of interrupts the season, but I've always felt, you know, have the rivalry, the intercity rivalries or the cross-state rivalries, one series at home and away, then get back into your own league. But I do like the interleague play, particularly here in New York. This is probably the best, the excitement. It's a big game for both teams. The Yankees are down, the Mets want to keep rolling.
And over the last several years, hearts and minds have been at stake in these series, and the Mets are at a point right now where they're just rolling, and I don't think they care who they're playing, and the Yankees are struggling, and they probably don't care who they're playing.
You're right. It's two different things. I think for the Mets, they just want to continue the trend that they've set in these first 40 games, and the Yankees are looking for some kind of spark to get them going, because when you have a lineup like they have and getting the kind of pitching, they've been getting good pitching, just not being able to capitalize it. So Yankees looking for a spark, Mets trying to continue the trend.
And the Mets come in here on a high after yesterday's comeback, their most significant ninth-inning comeback in 8 years.
Well, they came back from a 5-1 deficit here in the ninth inning. That was Newhan right there, started out with a single, got behind 2-0 on the pinch hitter Beltran, and Pinella came out and they had words, wound up walking Beltran. Willie Randolph chose to stay with Ruben Gotay. He delivered with an RBI single. David Wright was off the bench. His A-minus lineup was in there. He had a terrific bench, and boy, did it pay off right there. David Wright, of course, made a one-run ball game, and then Carlos Delgado, who's been struggling, but hitting clutch with 2 outs, got a 2-out RBI, 2 RBI single with 2 outs to win the ball game.
And even though it's been tough for Delgado, his second walk-off RBI on this homestand, and so the Mets are rolling. They're now ahead by a game and a half over the Braves in the National League East, and they'll send Oliver Perez to the mound, coming off arguably his most impressive outing as a Met.
Well, and he pitched the furthest into the game as a Met. 8 1/3 innings, only 1 hit given up until he gave up the home run in the ninth to Bill Hall. But Perez has been excellent throwing strikes. The league is batting .204 against him, and he's been amazingly consistent. 3 earned runs or less in 6 of his 7 starts. Mets are 4 and 3 in his starts, but Perez could not be any better coming into the early part of the season.
And Andy Pettitte will pitch for the Yankees. He has not gotten much bullpen support, but he has been the Yankees' best starting pitcher so far this season. So it's Perez for the Mets, Pettitte for the Yankees. Subway Series fever invades New York. Back with all the action on SNY. Mets Baseball on SNY is brought to you by Barbados, proud sponsors of the New York Mets. Experience the authentic Caribbean. By Aflac, ask about it at work. By Hummer, visit Hummer.com to check out the H3 Hummer like nothing else. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by IO Digital Cable, the leaders in HD and presenting sponsor of the Mets in high definition. Do you see in HD? Oliver Perez will be bidding for his 5th win tonight, coming off a tremendous 8 1/3 inning performance in his last start. And Andy Pettitte has pitched brilliantly for the Yankees so far this year, but has just 2 wins. Tries to get the Yankee ship righted. Mets and Yankees for the first time this season. All the action coming right up. Sellout crowd still coming in here at Shea Stadium as we look at the Ford Yankees starting lineup. And the 2 guys who have been hitting have been Jeter and Posada. They rank 1-2 in the American League in batting. Alex Rodriguez 15 home runs, but he has cooled off significantly after his fast start this season.
Yeah, 14 of those in April, as Oliver Perez could not pitch any better than he did in his last start. One measly hit by pitcher Chris Capuano. Broken bat hit to left field through 8 innings.
Johnny Damon leads off. It takes a strike, and we're underway at Shea. Damon has not started the last 2 games for the Yankees. He's got a sore left calf. He's also battled back problems this year. And the slider way outside 1-1.
And for all you folks that didn't step out of the house today, it is cold here. This is like October weather. Late October.
Slapped over at third, and Damon's got a base hit to start the ball game. Chavez charges it hard, makes the throw. Damon with a slide, and he's out at second base. Andy Chavez does it again.
Well, good hitting by Damon, taking it right down the line here. And this is the Mets' defensive outfield here with Chavez in left. We know all about Endy. The throw is right there. Nice spin. One hop right to Easley. And there's a man that's happy.
Willie Randolph purposely played this outfield. Chavez, Beltran, Gomez with Perez on the mound, as he did the last time Oliver pitched, and got 17 fly ball outs. Here's Derek Jeter, and he takes ball 1.
Well, it makes you wonder, Gary. You talked earlier about Damon with the calf injury. If he's healthy, he probably has that.
Yeah, he definitely was not running the way we're used to seeing Johnny Damon. Jeter having a terrific year as he takes a strike.
Well, we'll watch him running here. Looks okay to me.
Well, what happens when you have that bad calf, though? You try to get that second gear, not there.
He didn't have that extra burst.
You're right.
2-1 to Jeter. Derek hitting at .368, second behind Posada in the American League. And he has always been a Met killer. Probably the biggest hit he ever had against the Mets was the first pitch of Game 4 of the World Series in 2000, when he took Bobby Jones deep after the Mets had won Game 3. Alex Rodriguez on deck, and then Posada.
Well, Derek's 32 years old, and he already has over 2,100 hits. And I think he stays healthy. I think he's got 3,000 in the bag.
That's what he's done against the Mets in the regular season. .374 batting average. Jeter has more hits in interleague play than anybody since interleague play began in '97. Missed inside, ball 4. And Jeter on with a 1-out walk. And Perez may be a little overpumped for the start of this game.
And the Lexus Mets defense, and you're going to look at that, we call that Gold Glove outfield, even though there's only one Gold Glover out there. Chavez, Beltran, Gomez. That's a fine defensive outfield. Delgado, Easley, Reyes right in the infield, and LaDuca behind the plate.
So here's A-Rod, just 4 for his last 28. After the ridiculous start that he got off to in April, he has cooled down as you might have expected. And he takes at his feet for ball 1.
Good call, Gary. Perez does look like he's a little pumped up. Why not? That's good, but just want to try to tap some of that energy.
Jeter at first and 1 out. Derek has just 3 steals this year, and he's been caught 5 times. Not getting a lead at all as A-Rod takes inside 2-0. There's Posada, the hottest hitter in the Yankee lineup, on deck. Perez trying to find his rhythm early in this one. Slowly hit. Wright has to wait on it, and he'll go to first to get A-Rod for the second out as Jeter moves up to second.
Well, this is probably a ball right here. A-Rod, this is a team struggling offensively. Borderline low run. It's not a good swing on a 2-0 pitch.
It's not a 2-0 pitch. Yeah, you don't want that pitch 2-0. Want that ball up a little bit from Perez.
The Yankees' overall numbers offensively are outstanding. They're second in the American League behind the Red Sox in runs scored, but they've lost 5 of their last 7 games, and in the 5 losses, they've scored a total of 7 runs, including yesterday's loss in Chicago to the White Sox. By the way, the Red Sox and Braves have been rained out tonight in Boston, so neither team has to look at the standings tonight. The Yankees looking up at a 9.5 game deficit, the furthest they've been out of first place at any point since 1997. Here's Posada, and Perez works him inside. Posada leading the American League in batting at .371. He's never had a 300 hitting season. His career high was .287 as you look at Hideki Matsui on deck. There goes Jeter, and he steals the base easily. Had a huge jump, and he steals third. 4th stolen base of the year for Jeter.
Well, just no one near him. And Jeter is such a wily veteran, and said, if you're going to give it to me, I'll take it.
Yeah. So a runner at third with 2 out, and Perez behind in the count again, 2-0 to Posada. And the slider on the inside edge, 2-1. There are your AL East standings. It's an unusual position for the Yankees to be in. The last time they were 9.5 back, though, in September of '97, they had a 6-game lead in the wild card. So this is a very different situation that they're in. Bobby Abreu getting the night off against the lefty as Perez misses outside, and Abreu has just been stuck in a huge rut.
Well, he's not doing all the things that Bobby Abreu does when he has done in his career. He's not walking. He's not hitting for any power.
.304 slugging percentage, which is absurd. And the slider misses ball 4, and Perez throwing a 3-1 slider, looking like he wanted no part of Posada. And now runners are at first and third.
It's Jason Giambi not playing because no DH here in the National League.
He's got a sore heel, which would prevent him from playing first base.
You know, and you look at this lineup, and you know, after Posada, Jeter, Damon, Jeter, A-Rod, Posada, now Matsui. This is a club that's going to hit. But the score runs.
But the biggest problem they've had, Keith, is their left-hand hitters like Abreu, like Cano, even like Matsui with only 2 home runs. They haven't been hitting. And so they've been very vulnerable, particularly against left-handed pitching.
A lot of the power numbers are down this year. A lot of home run hitters that have hit them in the past are not hitting them like they used to.
And Perez takes a strike. Perez throws a strike. Greg Gibson looked like he was putting up a reluctant right hand there.
You know, and what happens is what just happened in this inning. When your left-handed hitters aren't hitting, you pitch around the right-handed hitter Posada or switch hitter Posada to get to Matsui.
Fastball, strike. And Perez ahead on Matsui, 0-2.
Well, we saw the first pitch. Oh, that's a good one right there. Looks like the home plate umpire, Greg Gibson's giving some corners.
In hard, caught by Easley, side retired. So Perez survives a hit and 2 walks, a line drive out to end the inning. Help from his defense as Endy Chavez comes up big on the first play of the game, and the Yankees fail to score. 34-year-old Andy Pettitte on the mound for the Yankees tonight. And here's the Mets Geico starting lineup, and the only surprise tonight is that Endy Chavez and Carlos Gomez are both in there against Pettitte, with Sean Green sitting on the bench tonight, but that's because Willie wanted to get his best defensive outfield out there with Perez on the mound.
Well, Andy Pettitte has had 7 seasons of 15 wins or more. Even if you get on first base, he has 76 career pickoffs, one of the best lifts, one of the best moves ever by a starting pitcher.
Jose Reyes at 337 on the year, and he takes ball 1 from Pettitte.
Wow.
Reyes got a full day off yesterday after the cramping in his hamstring late in the ball game after midnight on Wednesday night. And the Mets have been rollicking against left-handed pitching this year, in part because of Reyes and Beltran both picking it up from the right side. Taking all the way. It's a strike, 2-1.
Well, Pettitte has been their big game pitcher over the years, Ron, particularly in the playoffs.
Line drive, base hit. And Reyes gets it started for the Mets. Reyes' 58th hit of the year. This is the Mets' 41st game.
High fastball, belt high. Reyes stays so level. I've always liked his swing from the right side of the plate.
It's shorter from the right side of the plate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more level.
Yeah.
It's more of a level swing. I think it's more natural for him.
Came in hitting .442 as a right-hand batter, and here's Damian Easley. Easley's been hitting lefties as well, .333 against left-handers. Mets as a teamer at .339 against lefties. Complete turnaround from the second half of last year. Let's see how Reyes fares against Pettitte's move. Moving back to the bag on that first breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
That is the shortest lead you'll ever see Jose Reyes have. Just about 3 steps off the bag.
Reyes with 23 steals in 28 tries, but not too many teams run against Pettitte. And Easley takes the changeup wide, and it's 1-1. This is the 12th time that a lefty has started against the Mets this year. The Mets are 8-3 when lefties start against them, and with those numbers, why would you think differently? This, though, is not your garden variety left-hander. Reyes back to the bag.
Well, the move is he will look at the runner, raise his leg, look down to the plate, and then back at the runner. And that's not his good one.
Pettitte returning to the Yankees this year after his respite in Houston for 3 years. Won 14 games for the Astros last season.
Well, this is a little quicker move here, but he has the one where he'll look at you, and then that front leg looks almost like it's going to the plate, and he'll shorten up the distance, and he'll step almost to the plate and fire to first.
To the ball.
Some call it a balk move, but it's balk and brilliant.
And again, Reyes is moving back to the bag as Pettitte missed badly with the changeup, and it's 2-1, and he hasn't thrown a fastball to Easley yet. Talk about being completely fooled.
Well, the book has to be, if you've seen any film, you cannot throw Damian Easley a fastball out over the middle of the plate. That's where he gets his power.
And isn't that where Pettitte's move really saves him? Because with anybody else, with Reyes at first base, you have to throw a fastball.
I mean, that's why you're in a second hole behind Reyes. You think you're going to get a lot of pitches to hit. Not the case here. All breaking pitches. They are a 3-1 curve, 2-1 curveball from Andy Pettitte.
Now he's behind on Easley, 3-1 with Beltran to follow.
It's a good pitch to San Jose. We'll see. He's got, remember, he had a little tweak 2 days ago in the hamstring.
Not running. Ball 4, and the Mets have the first 2 on for Beltran. So Easley with a terrific at bat. Finally saw a fastball on 3-1, but Pettitte missed.
Well, the Rico Yankee defense. Jorge Posada behind the plate. Rodriguez, Jeter, Robinson Cano, what a year he had last year. Josh Phelps at first base. Cabrera, Damon, Matsui in the outfield.
So here's Beltran, who's been struggling a bit, just 8 for his last 40 after a tremendous start. Mets have a chance to jump on Pettitte early. And Beltran has done that before.
Mets have a number of hitters with terrific career numbers against Pettit. Beltran hitting .387 in 31 career at bats against Andy, including a home run.
Well, there's the hero of the game yesterday.
And he's also got great numbers against Pettit, including 5 home runs. Beltran hits a tapper. Pettit will have to go to first. And the runners advance to second and third. That's the first out.
Well, change up here. Manny Pettit, that ball went straight down. A little bit like the ball that A-Rod hit. This one, though, back to Andy Pettit. One of the best fielding pitchers you'll see in baseball.
Well, there's a situation right there where Pettit's trying to get a ground ball, and he gets one, but it's hit so poorly that he can't get a double play. He can't even get the lead runner.
So here's Delgado, who had the game-winning hit yesterday. Darryl Strawberry, who's played for both these teams, on hand to watch.
Hey.
What was it you called him?
He had a lot of names for it. Oh, pulled a muscle face.
A blast for the pass.
The infield back for Delgado. And Carlos hits one in the air, not very deep. Damon doesn't have much of an arm. Reyes tagged at third. He'll certainly test him. And Damon throws it home, not nearly in time. It's cut off. And the Mets take a 1-0 lead. Well, the Mets last year ran at every opportunity on Johnny Damon. And there wasn't any question Reyes would try to score. Delgado drives on the run.
Well, if you're Carlos is out in front again, let's go with one hand. And this ball wasn't hit that deep. And I tell you, when you in that situation, and I guarantee you Delgado will go up to Jose Reyes and say, nice hustle, thanks a lot. Taking advantage of Damon's poor arm, as you said, Gare.
So Reyes scores a run. 36 runs scored now for him, second in the National League. And now David Wright will try and pick up easily from second with 2 out. David had a brand new experience in the 9th inning yesterday. He had never pinch hit before in his major league career. And he did what all good pinch hitters do.
Jumped onto that first fastball from Scott Air.
Thou shall not pass.
And for Met fans, you have to appreciate the way that Jose Reyes is running, free and easy.
Wright is 5 for 10 with a home run against Pettit. He tries the pickoff move to second, but easily is back. It's amazing with all the great numbers the Mets have against Pettit that he's 7-2 lifetime against the Mets. But that's Pettit. He knows how to win games. Although this year he's had wins taken away from him by his bullpen 3 times this year when he's left with a lead.
And if you look at some of the numbers come from Beltran in Kansas City, from Delgado when he was with Toronto.
Paul Lo Duca hitting 6th in the order tonight. He's on deck. Pettit's got only 2 wins, but he's got a 2.68 ERA, 8th in the American League. In 7 of his 8 starts, he's given up 2 earned runs or less. So he's been a tough customer all year. But the Mets have a 1-0 lead in the first inning tonight. And Wright takes the curveball outside, 2-1.
2 of Mariano Rivera's blown saves were Andy Pettit games. What I like about Andy Pettit, when it gets really tough, he knows how to bear down. He knows how to get those huge outs. Always has.
Wright watches the fastball, and it's 3-1. Well, first base is open, and on deck Lo Duca, who's never had much luck against Pettit. We'll see what Wright gets here.
Whenever I think of Andy Pettit, it makes me laugh, because remember, he signed with Houston as being closer to his family. So now he signed as free agent to get back to New York. Does that mean he wanted to get away from his family?
That's happened before. 3-1 to Wright. David bloops one, shallow right. In comes Cabrera, and he's there to end the inning. But the Mets scratch out a first inning run. Reyes with the base hit, Delgado with the RBI, and the Mets with a 1-0 lead. Weekday mornings before you head out the door, check out the CW11's Commuter Cast. From traffic tie-ups to train delays, get up to the minute time-saving traffic reports with Commuter Cast all morning long on the CW11 Morning News. Well, Oliver Perez survived the first inning. Gave up a hit and a couple of walks, a stolen base, a line drive that was caught. And now he's got a 1-0 lead as Melky Cabrera leads off and takes a strike. Melky hitting just .226, his on base percentage below .300. So it's been a struggle for him. Even more so as a right-handed batter. Grounds one to Reyes in the hole. Bobbled. He has time to make the throw to get Cabrera one away. So 1 out and nobody on as we check out our Jeep around the majors. Josh Beckett not calling it a blister this time. It's a torn flap on his finger. Really the same thing. Delman Young, a walk-off home run for the Devil Rays last night. Jermaine Dye, big day against the Yankees. Interleague play beginning tonight, but not in Boston where they've already been rained out. Josh Boone with an early grand slam for the Marlins, and they lead Tampa Bay 7-0. Back in St. Pete after their 3-day excursion to Disney World. Robinson Cano lifts one to left field, and Andy Chavez is there. And quickly there are 2 down. 3 pitches, 2 outs for Perez. The Devil Rays want to become a regional team, so they went up to Orlando for 3 days, played in a 9,000-seat stadium. Not sure why that was a good idea, but they won all 3 games.
Well, they're trying to increase their market in the Orlando area, which is one of the most burgeoning areas right in Florida. A lot of people moving down there, but very strange that Major League Baseball let them play in a 9,000-seat stadium. But I guess that's more than they were getting at home, right?
I guess for games against Texas, whom they beat 3 times. Josh Phelps hitting 8th in the order for the Yankees. He and Doug Minkiewicz have been playing most of the first base for the Yanks. At one time, Josh Phelps was a prized prospect with the Toronto Blue Jays. In fact, he was thought of as Carlos Delgado's successor at first base with Toronto. But it never quite worked out for him there. 2-1.
He won the job in spring training over Andy Phillips, who played the entire season with the Yankees last year.
There's Doug Minkiewicz, the former Met, who has been struggling. Sitting tonight against the left-hander. 3-1 to Phelps with Andy Pettitte on deck. Perez not looking as sharp early as he did in his last start against the Brewers. Phelps lines it to left, and Chavez is there. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Oliver Perez. Took him just 8 pitches to negotiate that inning, and he's got a 1-0 lead. Grounded right side. Terrio can't get it. Base hit. Here comes Gotard to the plate. The throw by Martin. Not in time, but that's win it. A 5-run bottom of the 9th, and the Mets win it 6-5. Get to Shea in 2007 for more thrills and good times with Mets season tickets and plans, which include exclusive postseason ticket purchase options. Get your season tickets and plans at Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX. The 2007 Mets, your season has come. Paul Lo Duca leads off the home second. And Pettitte misses low. And Pettitte's been throwing ball 1 to just about everybody.
Well, Perez had a much better second inning than the first inning, and we'll see what happens with Pettitte here.
Well, Duca's been swinging the bat well, and he drives that one to right, but Cabrera's right there. 1 away. So 1 out and nobody on. Andy Pettitte with one of the best winning percentages of any lefty in history. 80 games over 500.
On his way to 200 wins.
Well, last 12, 188. Only Maddox, the big unit, and Mike Mussina, his teammate, have more wins than Andy Pettitte in that time.
You saw the 14 postseason wins as well. Andy Chavez with 1 out takes a strike. Andy's already put his mark on this game with his defense. And doesn't he seem to put his mark on every game that he plays in?
That is a very good point. Every game he plays in, where he does something offensively or on the bases or bunt, it does something.
He was in the middle of that big rally in the 9th inning yesterday, drawing a walk to force in the first run of that inning. By the way, the Cubs bounced back and won today, which just goes to show that Momentum is not often a big thing in baseball. 2-1 to Andy.
Well, sometimes it's a good thing when a manager gets ticked off and makes it evident.
That had to be a quiet flight back to Chicago last night.
I will say this, Lou did a great job biting his tongue after the game. Grounded down to Phelps, who corrals it. Well, that's 2 away. As Carlos Gomez comes to bat, let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, guys, you want to get the true gauge on what a Subway Series is all about. Why not ask a 21-year-old kid who's been in the big leagues for a week? And so I did. I asked Carlos Gomez if tonight is any different than the other games he's played. He said, oh, yeah. He was really excited to go, and he said he wants the ball to come to him. He wants the balls to come to left field. Now, his aunt Estella is here in the crowd to watch him play. His parents are home in the Dominican watching him on TV. And he left us with an interesting quote. He said, New York, I have a surprise for you tonight. I don't know what more of a surprise he can give than what he's done running his first week, guys. We'll see.
Takes the curveball from Pettit for ball 1. And he's confident, too. He said he was 80% certain he'd be in the lineup tonight with the left-hander going. And lo and behold, here he is. 12 big league at-bats into his career, getting at .417. In the air to shallow right, and Cabrera in. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Pettit in the bottom of the second. On to the third we go at Shea. It's the Mets with a 1-0 lead.
Get great deals on season tickets, plans, and 7-packs at Mets.com.
Subway Series edition of Mets Weekly. We break down Mets-Yankees position battles as the weekend Subway Series at Shea rolls on. An all-new Mets Weekly Saturday at 12:30 exclusively on Sportsnet New York.
Well,
Foxy guys. Andy Pettit takes ball 1. Andy, a lifetime 137 hitter, 175 at bats. It's been the last 3 years in the National League.
He had a nice year with the bat last year. Had a home run, 5 doubles, some RBIs.
It's kind of like when Randy Johnson came to the National League. It took him a couple of years to adjust, and then, you know, he started swinging the bat competitively, and that's what Andy did. Took him a couple of years, but he got adjusted. In there for a call third strike, and Perez has his first strikeout of the night.
Oh, just a fastball. Pettit thought this pitch was up. Duca wanted it away, but you know, when you have the kind of fastball that Perez has, you can just throw that right by a pitcher.
Well, here's Damon, who slapped one over the third base bag for a game-opening base hit, but was thrown out by Chavez trying to stretch it into a double. And he takes the fastball high.
big gap in right center.
And they play shallow against Damon, who fouls it off.
Well, this was good hitting right here. It started the game right here, and the Yankees have been struggling offensively, but Endy Chavez put an end to that. Just a beautiful one-hop throw to nail Damon.
And the slider, what a nasty one. 1 and 2 to Damon.
And you know what I like about, as you see the pitch here, the slider to Damon on the outside corner. Wow. Talk about Endy after this pitch.
Slap to the left side, and Reyes with time. 2 out. So Perez settling in, has retired 6 in a row.
You know, just saying on that play as Jeter comes to the plate, a lot of left fielders in baseball would have played that ball that Damon hit into a double. They would have trotted over there, threw it back in. It was a hustle play, and he got over there with that great speed, and because he hustled to the ball, he had to play it second.
Great footwork on that pivot to put himself in position to throw. Jeter walked and wound up stealing third base in the opening inning. Mets with a 1-0 lead. Jeter whacks one foul.
It seems like, Ronnie, correct me if I'm wrong, that Perez tonight is throwing a lot more of that off-speed slider. 78 miles per hour against a left-hander. That's awful tough.
1-1 to Jeter. He held this way.
Well, watch Chavez here hustling, as Ronnie said. Never taking anything for granted, not assuming. That's just great hustle.
Along the right field line, Gomez with speed right near the stands, and he can't get it. He was there, but that's a tough corner out there, and he just couldn't squeeze it.
Well, he's been playing in the minor leagues his whole life, and now he's in the big leagues. Saw him look. He just overran it, and he has to get familiar with Shea Stadium.
Well, that's where he lost it, right? With that look to see the wall and lost where the ball was.
And then he got on his heel.
And they're going to charge an error on Gomez on this play for prolonging the time at bat. I think that's more about a guy that's used to playing center field.
Yeah. Never have to worry about a wall.
That's right.
Something one behind you.
1-2 to Jeter. Grounded foul. Down past Larry Boa.
So nothing more embarrassing to a fielder. You drop a pop-up or drop a fly ball. Boy, there's no place to hide in a big old stadium like this, is there?
Yeah, but he was in a corner where not everybody could see him. Of course, if you're in the middle of the infield, right? You're more exposed.
No. When you got a director like Bill Webb, you can't hide anywhere.
Well, that's for the folks at home. With that little grassy knoll there, which is smaller than it used to be now that they have the dream seats out there. Little jam job, tough play for Easley. Quick toss, got it. Side retired. Nicely done by Damian Easley. Knew he had just enough time to make the transfer. And Perez works around the error as a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the third. Still 1-0 Mets.
Sportsnet New York goes back in time to the '69 World Series. Baltimore was the setting for Game 2 as Koosman and Clendenin led the Miracle Mets to victory. Mets Classics 1969 World Series Game 2, Monday at 7 on Sportsnet New York.
By the way, our director Billy Webb has a new toy. It's pole camera out in the bullpen in right field. Look at that. Oliver Perez bloops the first one down the left field line. On comes Matsui and watches it drop, and Perez has yet another hit.
Well, Matsui playing shallow here and where he should be, and this just perfectly placed. Remember, he broke his wrist diving for a ball last year. Probably a little bit leery about diving for a ball.
And for Oliver Perez, that's his 7th hit of the season. That ties him for the most in the majors among pitchers with Livan Hernandez. So here's Reyes, who had a base hit leading off the first and scored the only run of this game. There's been so much talk recently about Reyes and his stature growing and whether he has reached the lofty plateau achieved by his counterpart here, Derek Jeter. It's fascinating to look at the numbers. Reyes has now played 475 games in his career, and you match up what they've done through the first 475 games of Jeter's career and Reyes's so far, and the numbers are awfully close.
The only thing Jeter has is what Jose doesn't, is a lot of postseason, a lot of tremendous postseason. And that's what separates them right now. I'll take either one on my team.
Reyes reaches for it and bloops it. Damon coming in. One away, and back to first goes Perez. And Jeter with a somewhat higher on base percentage. Reyes with far more triples and stolen bases, but the hits are about even. The home runs are about even.
I think Keith said it right. Just the bling bling on the fingers are uneven. Jeter with all those World Series rings.
And boy, as he starred in postseason, he has just been one of those spotlight players. Can't say enough about him.
Here's Damian Easley with 1 out and 1 on. Swings at the changeup. There are those numbers again.
You can see right there the difference in the stolen bases.
But then look at the on-base percentage going the other way, although Reyes is obviously closing the gap now with the year that he's having this year with his on-base percentage over 400. To short should be a double play. Jeter to Cano and on to first. 6-4-3 to end the inning. Pettit, who gets a ton of ground ball outs, gets one here. And the Yankees turn 2 to end the inning.
Take the train to the game.
Metro North, 7 Subway, Long Island Railroad. Mass Transit is your best way to Shea.
Mass Transit is the fast and easy way to get to Shea.
This week, Jets Nation reports from rookie camp as Gang Green's freshman class takes to the practice field, and Coach Eric Mangini gets a first-hand look at his new recruits. All new Jets Nation Saturday at noon, only on Sportsnet New York. We got a new addition to our booth here. Hi, Chad.
Chad, do you like the Patriots?
Alex Rodriguez takes a strike. Glad you could come to work today and play with dolls, Keith. That's terrific.
The secret's out.
And A-Rod takes the breaking ball 1-1. Rodriguez hit a slow ground ball to third in the first inning. Now, what's that duck doing in there?
Oh, well, he talks.
He's for later. You don't want to hear what he has to say. In the air to left, and Chavez barely having to move. A-Rod retired, went away. Well, it's the first day of interleague play in 2007, the 11th year now of interleague play. And you know, I feel the same as I've always felt. I think these games between the Mets and Yankees are great. The rest of it you can have.
Well, I'll tell you, just coming to work today, though, you know, there's some excitement, you know, to get to watch the Yankees and the Mets. And I think that both teams, of course, read the papers here, the 3 big papers in New York City, and they hear all the things about Carlos Gomez or Oliver Perez, and they want to see how these people are in person. So the Yankees want to see the Met guys want to see the Yankee guys.
You know, it's the chance for them to, for the National League fans to see American League players, but this is an added attraction here. This is by far the best interleague play.
See, to me, this isn't interleague play. This is intercity play. And the same with the Cubs and the White Sox and the Dodgers and the Angels and the Giants and the A's. But the other stuff, I don't think anybody really cares whether the Orioles or the Devil Rays or the Twins come in here. That's my feeling anyway.
I think originally, a lot of times, the intention was to get different ball players played in the other league into other ballparks. But the problem is now, with so much free agency, everyone changes teams every year. So you get to see those players anyway.
Well, also in this town, you can see every team. Toward the middle, and Reyes can't quite get there, and Posada's got a base hit. Second hit of the game for the Yankees, and Posada continues to rack up the hits.
Well, just out of the reach, the ball not hit that hard, got a little bit on his hands, and Reyes just can't get to it. Posada's hitting over 400 against left-handers this year.
Well, that's how you lead the league in hitting. You get soft base hits that find holes.
And Reyes was playing Posada in the hole closer to right. That allowed that ball up the middle to be a base hit.
So 1 out and 1 on for Matsui, who lined out to end the first inning. Delgado holds Posada, who is no threat to run. And it's ball 1. I know we have these conversations all the time, but with a left-hand hitter up there, I would love to see Delgado play a step or two behind him.
Well, particularly with a slow runner right there in Posada, who's not a threat to steal. And, you know, you've got to keep him honest, too. There's a pickoff play when a first baseman plays behind the bag, the runner on first. And it's where the signs are between the pitcher and the first baseman, and to keep him honest. But I understand your point there, because you haven't got a threat to steal.
And particularly with Delgado, who's not that mobile, you'd like to give him a couple extra steps of depth, you would think.
And you know that play you're talking about, Keith, easier when there's a left-handed pitcher on the mound, because what you'll do as a first baseman, as soon as the left-hander lifts his leg, you'll come in the break behind the runner to the bag and try that kind of pickoff.
Popped up foul right near the stands, and it goes in the crowd. 2-1. Melky Cabrera waits on deck.
The Mets this year, though, they play against the Tigers right in Detroit.
Right.
So that'll be, for me, I'll look forward to that because I've not seen that stadium.
Right. And the Mets will play the A's this year at Shea. First time in interleague play. First time since the '73 World Series. In fact, the Mets this year will become the first team ever to play every team that went to the postseason the previous year. Detroit, Minnesota, Oakland, the Yankees.
And the Dodgers twice.
Yes, that's true.
In the National League.
Yep, that's the extra series the Mets play. Matsui drives it to deep right field. That's gone. Hideki Matsui clouts his third home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and the Yankees take a 2-1 lead. A 3-1 fastball, and Matsui parked it.
Well, so important to get ahead in the count. 3-1. Fastball away. He just went out and got it. It looked like he was obviously looking for fastball in that situation. Maybe had a little bit too much of the outer half of the plate. But Matsui is one of the great players that have come over from Japan, that have come over here and had great success. And look at the swing right there. It's almost like he's pulling out, but he's not. It's a very strange swing that he has.
Instead of delivering the bat to the ball, he almost sweeps that swing through the strike zone for a long period of time.
Haven't we seen that with a lot of the Japanese players?
Gary just took the words out of my mouth. Suzuki and in Seattle, they all, Matsui, they all like they're running to first base.
Broken bat, easily charging. Another tough play, makes the flip in time. Second time that Easley's made that identical play, and there are 2 out.
Well, he's got to hurry here, and it's all about the transfer, getting it out of the glove. It looks like he's going this way, and the ball's in, and he gets jammed. Oh, the bat almost clipped him.
Well, if anyone knows how to hop over a bat, it would be Oliver Perez.
That was just like a foul line to him. He's been practicing.
Double Dutch.
He's wondering why he always did that. That's what he's doing.
Cano takes ball 1. Robinson Cano flying to left his first time up. Yankees have taken a 2-1 lead here in the 4th on Hideki Matsui's home run. And the breaking ball swung and missed.
Well, good breaking ball here from Perez. And I think that's what he didn't do in the last game. He was able to stay out of those 3-1 counts where he had to throw a fastball. Got burnt by Matsui, and there against Cano, 1-0, was able to come in with a slider instead of that fastball. Cano looked like he was guessing fastball.
Well, Cano had a terrific year last year.
A little rain has begun to fall as Cano takes a strike.
Great year, Keith, and much of it spent hitting in the 9th position in the American League in that lineup.
342. That's not easy.
This year's been far different for Cano. Struck him out. Perez with his second strikeout to end the inning, but the Yankees grabbed the lead as Hideki Matsui got a 3-1 fastball to his liking. His 3rd of the year puts the Yankees up 2-1. Aflac trivia question for tonight.
Aflac!
We've got the duck in the booth tonight. Mariano Rivera has saved 45 games for Andy Pettitte, second most by one pitcher for another. What tandem has the most? Good question. Carlos Beltran leads off the home 4th against Andy Pettitte. The Mets down by a run as Beltran takes a strike.
Got to guess.
Do you share?
Yeah, I was just thinking of in my own mind, former teammates, like Dave Stewart, who won 20 games, it seemed, every year, Dennis Eckersley.
Seems like a likely tandem. Would have to be a closer that spent a lot of years with one team. Yes. Beltran goes down. One away.
Well, good breaking ball from Andy Pettit. That's straight downer. The Met hitters, Reyes and Beltran, the switch hitters, important to keep the ball down. They are high ball hitters from the right side.
It's a big inning for Pettit. His team has taken the lead. They haven't been scoring much. He's facing the heart of the batting order. And he gets Beltran to start the inning.
What a profile.
You were talking about Dave Stewart. He had that kind of death stare.
With the high voice, though. As long as you didn't hear him.
Well,
he had that death stare and that high voice.
Did Stewart come up with the Phillies or the Dodgers?
Dodgers.
And I thought he had great stuff.
But he didn't have much success till he got to Oakland.
He couldn't get his curveball over when he was young.
But what tied on Delgado 0-2.
What he did when he got to the A's is Duncan taught him the split finger, and that changed his entire career.
Well, that's a great pitch right there, isn't it, Ron? Up and in fastball.
It's a pitch Delgado has not done much with this year. Breaking ball rolled over to Phelps. And there are 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on. Andy Pettit, born in Louisiana, raised in Texas. You think of Louisiana pitchers, though, who do you think of?
I think of lefty Ron Guidry.
Guys sitting in the Yankee dugout, their pitching coach.
I think he had 170 career wins, I believe, for Louisiana Lightning. There he is.
Raging Cajun, 25-3 for the '78 Yankees.
Well, not a big guy and just had a whip. He could throw hard.
David Wright fouls one away. David flied to right his first time up.
Well, he was great in a way that he just used all of that frame. He was almost like a bottle of lightning emerging from a glass as he threw. Really used his legs great.
One and one to right. And Guidry was just phenomenal.
That is pretty nice winning record.
And I don't know when it started, but I know that during his games, when he got to 2 strikes, that's when the fans would get up off their feet and start clapping, anticipation of the strikeout.
Well, David getting a little over anxious here. Goes fishing for a bad breaking ball. See if he comes inside now with 2 strikes ahead in the count to go get David.
Two and two to right. I don't know. Legend has it, Ronnie, that 2-strike clapping.
Yeah.
Started in that 18 strikeout game Guidry had against the Angels. And of course, it became a big thing here at Shea when Doc was in his prime.
Yes.
There's the fastball in I've been looking for. Look at it.
And that fastball misses badly, and it's 3 and 2.
That was an interesting sign from Jorge Posada. Not only did he give the sign for fastball in, but then he took his right hand and he motioned, get it in, get it way in.
Fastball away.
3-2 to right. On the ground to Cano. And so Pettit, after being given the lead, gets the heart of the batting order. 1-2-3. On to the 5th at Shea, and the Yankees with a 2-1 lead. Shea Stadium completely full for the opener of this Subway Series. Here's the Mets' upcoming schedule. Remember, all Mets home games on SNY are available in HD, presented by IO Digital Cable. Do you see in HD? Josh Phelps hits the first pitch in the air to left center. Easy for Beltran. 1 pitch and 1 out for Perez. Time for a City Baseball Night in New York update. Let's go to the studio and Matt Yallo.
All right, Gary, this afternoon at Wrigley Field, Sox and Cubs, game tied at 3. Mike McDougal's pitch gets away from Toby Hall. Angel Pagan comes in, and the Cubs with a comeback win. White Sox make 4 errors, 6-3 the final.
Well, the Cubs able to bounce back and get a win today after their brutal loss here yesterday.
Oh, boy. I got some hot chocolate, guys. My hands are freezing. Oh.
Whipped cream?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Andy Pettitte takes a strike. Is it sweet?
Actually, it's pretty good hot chocolate they make in there. Maria makes she
Yes.
puts it all together in there.
Makes it with love.
She makes a powerful cup of coffee.
I think that's the next step for me and Ronald.
I'll never go to sleep if I have a cup of coffee after 8 o'clock. Forget it.
We can stay up late tonight. You're not doing anything tomorrow. Breaking ball strike to Pettitte, 1-2.
They will have to give Maria and her team in there in the press cafeteria standing O, because when you had that rain delay.
Delgado went for the ball easily to Perez covering, and just in time to get Pettitte.
Well, that's a case right there where you're glad the pitcher is running here. Anybody with any kind of speed. I don't know why Carlos just didn't take it. Made it into a tough play.
And you know, Andy originally thought Delgado was going to get it, so he was not running hard. Then, you know, tried to turn it up a notch, but by then it was done. You know, I was saying to Maria and her staff that during that rain delay, you should have seen, and I'm part of it now, that the press people, the amount of food they put away in 3 hours was frightening. They had that pizza delivered. That's how bad it was.
Well, you have a 3-hour rain delay. Whether you're in the stands or you're up here, what is there to do?
Listen, I'm part of the crowd now. No one likes free food more than the press.
Taken for a strike by Damon, 1-1.
There they are. They all get fed.
Oh, they're behind. It's too cold.
RJ, very harsh.
I'm a little bit.
Wow.
I don't know why.
I'm wearing my gloves tonight, so they have to type though.
Okay. Well,
you have to keep their fingers warm. 1-2 to Damon. Holds up on the slider, and he stopped it in time. Damon 1 for 2, singled, but was thrown out by Chavez trying to stretch it into a double in the first, then grounded out in the third.
They got him slightly shaded to left field. Beltran shading him to left, and I agree.
Breaking ball just missed.
I don't know. That looks like a pretty good pitch. Breaks a little late. Let's see if he catches part of that inside corner. Oh, you can give that to him. Absolutely.
It's the light rain falling. Damon lines it. Caught by right side, retired. Nice hops from David. Must be the shoes. At the apex. Go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's Shea. Andy Pettitte working with a 2-1 lead. Pettitte returning to the Yankees this year for his second go-round. Both these teams are veteran teams.
Yes.
Both are older teams. I guess if you looked at the makeup of the two of them among the everyday players, you'd have to look at Reyes and Wright as being the exceptions, being the two young guys amongst all the position players who play prominent roles.
And for the young guys for the Yankees, you'd think more of Cano and Cabrera, who's starting in right field.
Neither of one has quite the profile of Reyes or Wright. And LaDuca hits one off the glove of A-Rod. He should get 2 bases out of this as Matsui tracks it. And LaDuca into second base with a leadoff double. A-Rod made the dive but couldn't get it.
Fastball in, ripped by LaDuca just off the glove. Ticks his glove and makes it a sure double here. Nice play by the ball boy there, getting out of the way. Just out of A-Rod's reach.
Only LaDuca's 3rd double, only his 5th extra base hit of the season. And now the Mets have the tying run at second with nobody out.
And wondering here, Indy might do something to move the runner along here. Drag bunt. See, in at the corners.
Big hole on that left side. I mean, I know you're trying to hit it to the right side, but they're giving him that whole hole, which is where Andy likes to shoot it.
Give him the whole hole. He came into the game with 2 for 2, did Chavez against Pettit. And you got a young rookie behind you, Carlos Gomez. I don't know. I'd like to give Chavez a shot. Get a base hit here.
1-0. Give him a swing is right.
In the air, deep to right field. Back goes Cabrera at the wall. It's out of here! Andy Chavez with his first home run of the season, and it gives the Mets a 3-2 lead.
Fastball in, got it out over the middle. Boy, did he turn on that.
That's the Andy Chavez of the World Baseball Classic last year.
A little bit of the element of surprise there.
Nice. You said he should swing.
Nice call, Keith. Let him take a rip. And, you know, no slight to Julio Franco. When you start to talk about the makeup of the Mets and their bench, you start with Andy Chavez.
Carlos Gomez pushes a bunt. Pettit on his knees makes the throw just in time. And Pettit needed every bit of his athleticism.
Well, fastball. Thinking maybe he's going to be bunting. What do you do when a guy's bunting? You throw a high fastball. Maybe get a pop-up. Pettit didn't. Or Pettit did.
And
Posada.
this is Wise here. He needs a breather right now.
After a play, good play by Pettit. It's a good fielding pitcher. This Josh Phelps has his foot right in the middle of the running path. Lucky to get run over.
Gets spiked. How about Andy Chavez? I'm going to show it again here. Nice play by Pettit. From his knees.
Perez, jelly leg.
Buckle your world, pal.
Well, he's a 389 hitter now. You got to do something.
Well, Jerry Koosman did that to me once. I was very embarrassed.
Well, payback is awful, right? Perez does it to a lot of hitters himself.
Looped a single his first time up. Now has 7 hits for the year. Ties him for the league lead, and now he's got a lead in this game, 3-2. Chavez had 4 home runs last year. His first home run of this season. He's done it all, hasn't he?
They are chanting his name.
Wins games with his bunts, with his defense, now with his power.
We just said it so many times. We've seen Andy bouncing around the National League, and just okay. The Mets picked up Andy Chavez, and okay, fine. We got a good fielding outfielder. I had no idea what kind of player he was.
Little bloop. A-Rod won't get there. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't that kind of player. And Ronnie saw him in Washington.
I did. I saw him in Washington, and then when he got traded to Philadelphia with Marlon Byrd, I think what happened to Andy Chavez is that he didn't know what kind of player he was. And sometimes he'd heard it from a lot of people. Heard it from Frank Robinson, heard it from Charlie Manuel, but it wasn't until Willie Randolph that he listened, and he used all the great gifts that he has. His speed, his athletic ability in the outfield, his arm.
Perez down swinging. Second strikeout for Pettit, 2 away.
And you know something, too. A player like Chavez, who came here last year in April, wasn't going to play. Spot player, much like Valentin. He got his opportunity, and he made the most of it.
And I think it's worth noting just how the Mets continue to identify bench players who have thrived in those roles, whether it's Chavez and Valentin last year, Valentin turning into a starter, easily this year. You know, Castro the last few seasons.
Well, in Andy's case, you covet what you know best, and Omar knew him from the Montreal Expos / Nationals now, that he had one of his better years, I think, in 2004, and knew he could play, knew he had skills, and he just fits beautifully on this Met team.
And another thing real quick, Gary, is that when you come over to a winning team with a winning atmosphere, it brings the best out in the players.
2-1 to Reyes. Well, the Yankees had so much success with their bench during their winning years, whether it was Ruben Sierra or Darryl Strawberry, or all the guys that they had on that bench who would come up and get big hits for them.
Well, it takes 25 to win. I mean, it's cliche, but
Reyes fouling one off his leg.
We'll see 2 or 3 a game against Andy Pettitte because he throws a lot of balls down and into right-handers.
It's off his foot there. The inside part of his foot looked like his striding foot. It hurts, especially on a cold day.
Well, Brian Cashman's bench may not be quite what it has been in the past, and they might have had Bernie Williams on that bench this year, but Bernie declined to come to camp with a minor league contract, and he's still sitting home.
They could have used him early in the season too. Matsui was hurt.
They could use him right now.
Yeah. And the class acts of baseball, Bernie Williams.
2-2 to Reyes. Hit hard, and Jeter's got it. And that retires the side. But Endy Chavez turns this game around. Mets were down by a run when Chavez came to bat. No more. First home run of the year for Endy, and the Mets have a 3-2 lead.
The 2007 Mets, your season has come. Put yourself in our 2007 lineup. Get your Mets tickets now.
Kings of New York. That's Kings County, Brooklyn, Queens County.
They were just putting up with these great facts about Queens every in between innings. They were talking about Bob Keeshan.
Captain Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo.
Derek Jeter takes ball 1. Now here's Oliver Perez in the 6th inning, in very much the same situation that Pettitte was in the bottom of the 4th. He just got the lead. Now he's facing the tough part of the Yankee order: Jeter, A-Rod, and Posada. Jeter's walked and grounded out, and Perez falls behind 2-0.
It'll be interesting to see because it's obvious that Perez does not have the same stuff he had in his last start. So let's see, without his A+ stuff, see if he can get through this lineup.
By the way, with the rain falling, this is now an official game. Ooh, and Jeter takes a strike, 2-1.
I think Jeter was looking for something else there. It was an inside fastball, 2-0, a pitch to look in to try to drive. He took it.
A-Rod to follow, and then Posada. Too far inside, and it's 3-1.
They've been trying to pitch him in, but he cannot throw strikes inside. He's been going mostly outside when he gets behind the count. 77 pitches so far for Oliver.
Very reasonable. He threw 20 in the 1st inning. He's been pretty economical since. Shallow right field. Gomez will play it on a hop. And Jeter has himself a leadoff base hit. I thought that Gomez might make an effort for that ball, but decided to play it safe.
Well, he did.
Here's your Aflac trivia answer. Most saves for one pitcher for another. You got the right reliever, Ronnie.
The wrong starter.
Bob Welsh, who won what, 27 games? One season?
1990, I believe.
So now the tying run aboard. Jeter now with a 13-game hitting streak, and here's A-Rod taking ball 1. Going back to that last play, were you surprised Gomez didn't make an effort to try and catch that ball?
Well, there came a point in his decision, and he just, you called it, Gary. He played it safe. It's a young kid out there. It's a full house. It's a big game. It's a Yankee-Met game. And we'll take a peek at it right here, and you can see, keep an eye on him right there, on your right. Right there, he made a decision just to bail out on it. And, you know, I can't question that.
Didn't have a very high trajectory.
No.
And if he misses it, then Jeter's on 3rd. And the slider in for a strike.
I also think those are the balls, that height that we've seen, that can get lost in the lights a little bit. So pitch to A-Rod. Inside slider.
They can throw them there every time. There'd be no 300 hitters.
Another nasty slider from Perez, and it's 1-2.
Started on the outside part, dove down and in. You know, if it's hard for the catcher to catch it, and he's the one that called it, you know it's nasty to the hitter.
And A-Rod's been slumping. That after that just awesome April, he had to come back down to earth sooner or later.
Throw him another one.
I think something up out of the strike zone.
Struck him out with a fastball. Third strikeout for Perez.
Fastball. Pretty much middle, just kind of beat him after all those sliders.
I think the sliders put him on the defense, and he had him 0-2, and he just threw that fastball right by him.
So 1 out and 1 on. Mets with a 3-2 lead. And here's Posada, who's been aboard twice with a walk and a single, and he now has a 13-game hitting streak. Jeter's already stolen a base tonight, but he's not taking any kind of lead.
Well, Jeter's been thrown out 5 times this year in his 4 stolen bases. Not a good percentage. That leads the American League in caught stealing.
And the track's slowing down a little bit here with the rain. As you see, not much of a lead. Posada takes the fastball down, 1-0. Hideki Matsui waiting on deck. We mentioned that Posada's never hit 300 in a season. He has a chance to become the second catcher in Major League history to hit 300 for the first time at age 35 or older. And he's not just hitting 300, he's hit 376 right now, which is fascinating because last year Joe Mauer won the American League batting title, the first American League catcher ever to win a batting title. Perez with 9 first pitch strikes to the first 21 batters. Line drive caught by Reyes. He dropped it, but they say the out is made. He tried to deke the umpire, but the second base umpire Tony Randazzo right on top of it and said the out had already been recorded.
Well, he makes the right call here, Gary. There's the catch and the attempted transfer. Oh, that's not.
Hey, you have to be a little more subtle than that.
That's not going to fool Mr. Magoo.
I mean, come on, Jose. A little acting school might be in order.
No sleight of hand there.
Well, here's Hideki Matsui with the big blow for the Yankees, a 2-run homer in the 4th. And Perez stays with the slider after Matsui mashed a fastball.
Well, 2 home runs today, both in the same part of the park, the right field line, and both fastballs out over the plate.
Matsui came in hitting just 176 against lefties this year. And another slider from Perez, 1-1. Each team with 4 hits. Each team with a 2-run homer. Melky Cabrera on deck. Matsui's home run gave the Yankees the lead. Chavez turned that around for the Mets. 3 sliders in a row to Matsui, and it's 2-1.
And you can see in the radar gun there the 77-mile-an-hour slider. He's throwing that off-speed slider a lot more tonight, particularly against the left-handers. That's something he's worked on with Rick Peterson.
It's almost like a curveball, isn't it? In the air to right center, playable for Beltran and Gomez. Beltran calls, inning over. Perez works around the leadoff hit against the heart of the batting order and keeps a 3-2 lead.
Join the Mets Fan Club for Kids, presented by the Sports Authority in Hood. Members receive tickets, cap, drawstring bag, and more. Sign up today at Mets.com.
Andy Pettitte's thrown just 59 pitches over the first 5 innings. Reyes' acting job did not necessarily get a great reception in the dugout.
Well, all the 3-card Monty dealers on Canal Street are safe because no chance for Reyes.
Leo says, you got to do a better job than that. Damian Easley leading off against Pettit in the bottom of the 6th. You okay?
I missed my cough button. Sorry. Sorry, folks.
You need a decongestant or something?
No, I'm fine. I just missed the cough button.
2-0 to Easley.
Well, Willie's always won. That's the things I love about Willie, that he interacts with his players. No matter who you are, whether you're the 25th man on the roster or the first man on the roster, you'd like to be patted on the back when you do something good.
And now Pettit behind on Easley, 3-0. Mets have gotten the leadoff man on 3 times in the first 5 innings and scored him twice. Beltran and Delgado to follow. 3rd time around the batting order against Pettit. And there's a strike, 3-1.
Nope, that's what you got to do with Easley. You must keep that ball down. He loves that ball belt high and up.
By the way, Pettit had gone 26 straight starts without giving up a home run to a left-hand hitter before Chavez took him deep. Big hop for A-Rod. And he gets Easley 1 away. Time for a baseball night in New York update. Let's go to the studio and Matt Yaloff.
All right, Gary, you're watching the Mets and Yankees. How about some former Mets and Yankees? Braden Looper serving it up to Gary Sheffield in a World Series rematch. This one, all Tigers, 5-0 in Detroit in the 5th.
I guess nobody's hit a ground ball to the pitcher yet. Here's Beltran, who's hit a comebacker and struck out 0 for 2. Mets leading 3-2 in the home 6th. And Pettit pours one over the inside edge.
Well,
someone get the wipes. 1-1 to Beltran.
It's great to be young, isn't it? Eat anything you want.
Look, she's keeping her hands clean because she's got the plastic on it, eating it upside down.
Don't have to work.
And what's changed exactly?
When you get old, you got to work.
Some people do.
Shoot, mom cooks for you. All you got to do is make the bed in the morning.
Back this way, and it's 2-2. Now let's see what's changed for you.
What's changed?
Yeah, exactly what. Instead of mom cooking for you, your wife cooks for you.
Right. I do make the bed. And I do. I make the bed every day. I always did that.
So that's the same as when you were a kid.
I don't vacuum, though.
And you still get to have fun hanging out here with us.
Oh, I love that. This is not work.
Yes. That's exactly the point that I'm trying to make.
We got Major League Baseball here. I'm talking about
real people.
Yes.
People who are not quite as fortunate as yourself.
I am very fortunate. No question. I have a very nice job.
And you're very kind to people, too. Beltran down swinging, 2 away.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I saw you today. We did an event at SNY. We had hundreds of people come and take pictures with us, and you were so nice to everybody.
You asked everyone their name, and you shook their hand, and then as we were taking the picture, you gave almost everyone a nice back massage as we were taking the picture.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
Matt Yaloff did a great job hosting the event today.
Yes, he did. Where was Lee? I thought Lee was going to be there.
Maz was here tonight. Delgado drives one, foul. There's a New York Lottery box score for the night. The big one is in the 7th spot. Endy Chavez, a 2-run homer. That has given the Mets a 3-2 lead as they bat in the 6th. Pettit has Delgado diving, and it's 0-2.
Well, another good breaking ball from Andy Pettit down. That's one of the great things about Pettit throughout his entire career. It's one of those pitchers that has pitched from the knees down.
And thus 54% of his outs this year have come on ground balls. Gets Delgado swinging. 4th strikeout for Pettit. And the Mets go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th. On to the 7th we go at Shea. Webby's loving that new camera. This year, when you can't be home to watch your Mets on SNY or CW11, check out MLB.tv. You can log on to the internet to watch every out-of-market Mets game of the season live, catch those you missed on demand, or listen to every radio broadcast live. Sign up today for MLB.tv, an unparalleled live baseball experience. Melky Cabrera fouls off the first offering of the 7th from Oliver Perez. Perez, remember, went 8 1/3 innings in his last start, the longest outing by a Mets starter this season. Backdoor breaking ball misses 1-1.
We were talking about Bernie Williams before, and one of the reasons they let him go or didn't offer him a major league contract is the year that Cabrera had last year. Cabrera was #1 for rookies in runs with 75, 12 stolen bases, 56 walks, 12 outfield assists. Outstanding year he had for the Yankees last season.
Oh, what a difference a year makes.
Yeah. Hitting just .222 right now. It's this one to center field. Beltran stutter step now as it lined up. One away. Well, Joe Smith and Pedro Feliciano staying loose. Perez, though, at 92 pitches and not looking like he's requiring much help as he faces the bottom part of the order. Robinson Cano has flied to left and struck out. He's now in a 3 for 31 slump. Is that new camera, Webby?
He has more ways to get into someone else's little dark corner where he'd like to hide. Webby's amazing. He is a voyeur.
Oh, that new camera is very much like the one he's got trained at your right ear.
Look at that. Up periscope.
Hit hard, base hit. And so Cano with a 1-out single. The 5th Yankee hit off Perez. Scott Proctor getting ready in the Yankees bullpen as Joe Torre has to contemplate doing something he wouldn't have to in an American League game. Take out a pitcher who's got a low pitch count, who's not struggling just because he's going to come to bat.
Just look as far as a pitcher that pitches in the National League his whole career as opposed to an American League, and all the opportunities in the American League, you can stay in the game and get a win, and that gets in the way of the Hall of Fame voting because there's a discrepancy.
Josh Phelps held his swing.
You've got a player that's getting older and can get 3,000 hits by being a DH. In the National League, it's not going to happen.
Jason Giambi out on deck to pinch hit for Pettit. Pettit's only thrown 73 pitches. To third, might be a double play. Right to Easley on the first double play. Side retired. 5-4-3 around the infield. That'll keep Pettit in the game as he takes on David Wright. Paul LaDuca and Endy Chavez, the home run hitter, going to the bottom of the 7th. Weekday afternoons between 4 and 6. Log on to CW11.com for live traffic updates from the CW11's CommuterCast. Check with CommuterCast before you hit the road to find the fastest way home or the easiest way to Shea. David Wright leads off the home 7th and fouls away Pettit's first offer.
Well, the inning-ending double play right here. 2-hop bullet at David. Almost came up too quick. Uses 2 hands. Perfect feed. Nice spin and pivot. I should say pivot by Easley. Tailor-made.
1-1 to Wright.
Good break for the Mets, so that ball was smoked from Phelps.
Perez has thrown 96 pitches through 7. There's no action at the moment in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like he might get the 8th. There's a strike to Wright, 1 and 2. Pettit has certainly pitched well enough to win, and that's been the case in most of Pettit's starts this year. But offense and bullpen have plagued him as Proctor continues to throw. And Wright lines one to center, but Damon's there. 1 away. So 1 down to the bottom of the 7th, and here's LaDuca, who's hit the ball hard twice tonight. He lined out to right, and then he doubled off A-Rod's diving glove.
There he is doing that little barometer with his bat as he gets up to the plate and gets his how far away from the plate he should stand. Something new we've seen from Paul the last couple days.
Well, whatever it is, it's working. Last 2 weeks, his bat's been on fire.
And you can see, we just started seeing. Watch what he does with his bat. The end of the bat on the outside corner, and that's where the handle is. A length of the bat is where he wants to have his back foot.
He must have been good in the sandbox.
Me?
No, Paul.
Yes, he must have been. All hitters are good in the sandbox. You've got to dig in there. Well, actually, all baseball players, period, because pitchers got to dig on the mound and get a nice little hole for themselves in the mound.
My Weimaraners dig in the backyard.
Oh, that's not good.
They'll put a bat in their hands.
They digging up your yard?
Oh, constantly. That's what they do. You know, William Wegman dresses his Weimaraners in suits. I don't do that.
Yes.
I just let them be dogs. 3-1 to LaDuca with 1 out. Line drive, base hit. Matsui can't cut it off. And LaDuca will have another extra base hit. Second double of the game for LaDuca.
Well, Paul came into this game with only 4 extra base hits on the season. Now has 6 with the 2 doubles. And I think Matsui just misplayed that ball. Didn't think it was hit that hard. This is a line drive. Tried to cut it off, and it got by him.
I think on this cool night, Keith, also with the precipitation, that ball tends to scoot on that outfield grass. That might have fooled Matsui also.
Well, with LaDuca at second. Here is the man of the match, Andy Chavez. He provided the keynote tonight by throwing out Damon at second base. And he's provided the biggest blow with 1 swing of the bat.
Well, this gave the lead back to the Mets. It was a 1-0 fastball on a bunt situation, you would think. And I think it just surprised the Yankees. And that's the difference in the ball game.
First home run by a lefty against Pettit since last June 23rd. When another unlikely candidate, Scott Pasednik, hit one against him. Empire State Building, duly lighted. First time they've ever had different colors for different sides. You got Yankee blue and white on 2 sides and Met orange and blue on the other 2.
Be interesting, right, Gary? After letting Andy swing away on 1 attempt here, maybe he might put the bunt on.
Grounded to second. And Cano will make the play on Chavez. Now there are 2 away as LaDuca moves over to third.
Wow.
Little revenge.
Well, St. Louis is just getting 0 pitching this year.
That was Braden Looper tonight, who's been their best.
Who's been their best pitcher. Kip Wells' ERA, I think, is over 8 now.
Here's Carlos Gomez looking to get the run home from third with 2 out. Feliciano is up in the bullpen. Perez is out on deck. Let's see how Pettit goes after Gomez here. Foul. I mean, if you're pitching in this spot, do you assume that if Gomez walks, they're going to hit for Perez, and so you go right after him?
You assume that. It might not happen, but that's what you assume. You want to make sure that you pitch Gomez tough, make sure he tries to swing at something out of the strike zone.
In the air to shallow left, and Matsui puts it away to end the inning. So LaDuca doubles, leaves 1, and Perez will go out to pitch the 8th.
The Mets official merchandise catalog offers the best selection of Mets apparel and collectibles for every fan. For your catalog, call 800-PRO-TEAM.
We go to the 8th inning. Oliver Perez working with a 3-2 lead. Andy Pettit yielding the double to Paul LaDuca. He was able to get out of the inning, but clearly not happy with himself. And when the inning was over, demonstrated it a bit more.
That's just competitive spirit. I like to see that in my teammates anyway. I always did.
Well, petted out of the game now. Bobby Abreu will bat for him, leading off the 8th inning. Abreu going through a miserable stretch right now. Not only not hitting for average, but virtually no power. The guy who gets on base with regularity, generally over 400 on base percentage, now at 306. Smith and Feliciano continue to stay warm.
Well, Abreu is also playing in probably the best left-hand hitter's home run park in the game at Yankee Stadium. And that's what's astonishing. His lack of power.
Takes a strike, 2-1. He certainly played well for the Yankees after they got him last year.
He did play great. I think, Keith, though, one of the problems with Abreu is that he's away from Philadelphia. We used to be able to flip that fastball away over that left field wall. Can't do that in Yankee Stadium. It's an easy out.
Also, playing right field in Yankee Stadium does not really suit Bobby Abreu, who is not very comfortable going back near walls, and that wall's awfully close. And Cashman, who made the deal with the Phillies to get Abreu last summer.
Well, Abreu is not a pull hitter, neither.
Breaking ball in there for a call, strike 3. 4th strikeout for Perez. Abreu down looking, 1 away.
Well, good breaking pitch here. Starts right at his hip. Abreu takes it. Always been known to walk a lot. Not doing that this year, and that catches all of that outside corner for home plate umpire Greg Gibson.
Is that snow? It looks a little like snow, doesn't it? Johnny Damon takes a strike.
In at the corners, the Mets. Delgado's backing up a little bit.
Damon 1 for 3. Wright robbed him a hit his last time up, and takes the curveball for a strike, 0-2. Perez seems to be getting stronger as he goes along.
And that was a 73-mile-an-hour breaking ball. That's the slowest one he's thrown this game.
Look at his numbers, just getting better and better. One and 2 to Damon.
Well, what we're seeing from Oliver Perez, who spent a lot of last season not being able to throw a slider over for a strike, is he's throwing 2 different breaking balls tonight. He's throwing that slow curveball to get me over for a strike, and then that real hard one, which is the strikeout pitch.
A little dribbler foul. And let's also remember just how important this game is from a Yankee perspective. You know, you look at the pitching matchups for the next 2 days. The Mets have Glavine going against the rookie Darryl Rasner. Sunday they've got John Maine going against the first-time starter Tyler Clippard. Tonight the Yankees had basically the guy who's their ace, Andy Pettitte, on the mound, and they're down in the 8th inning. Pitching matchups on paper certainly would appear to favor the Mets the next 2 days, even though Maine has not pitched his best his last couple of starts. 106 pitches now for Perez, so Peterson checking the status in the bullpen. They're ready. You got the right-hand hitters Jeter and A-Rod to follow. 2-2. Kyle Farnsworth now on call in the Yankee bullpen. Farnsworth had a crowd around him in the Yankee clubhouse today. Writers wanted to ask him about his comments regarding Roger Clemens' job status.
There's some news about Roger Clemens. Pitched in tonight in Tampa. 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. The only run on an Eric Liss home run.
And he went around. Strike 3.
Well, this is the pitch I'd like to see Perez throw more, particularly to left-hand hitters. That inside fastball. He stays out way too much.
See, he's got the grip of his split finger changeup. Then he will change it in the glove to the fastball and then go after him.
Well, after striking out Damon, it appears that Perez might have thrown his last pitch. With Derek Jeter due up, Willie's going to go to the side-arming right-hander Joe Smith. A leap-worthy performance for Oliver Perez. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon. Switch to Verizon Fios TV, internet, phone. It's the most advanced fiber optic network straight to your home.
The Mets Ticket Marketplace is your access to premium seat locations at Shea. Sign up for your membership now at Mets.com.
For Oliver Perez, another tremendous performance tonight. 7 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, and pulled with 2 out in the top of the 8th. With Derek Jeter coming up in favor of Joe Smith. And Jeter, seeing Smith for the first time, thinks about a bunt.
Well, Joe Smith, who was unscored upon in 19 of his 20 appearances so far in this season. 1.47. And 7 walks, 20 strikeouts.
1-1 to Jeter. Jeter 1 for 2 tonight and a walk. Two and 1. Well, there were plenty of questions about the back end of the Mets rotation coming into this season, and those 3 guys have just outperformed anybody's expectations.
I'll take 12 and 4 any day of the week.
2 and 2 to Jeter.
Joe Smith comes into this season, makes the team in spring training, comes May 18th, and he gets to face Jeter and A-Rod in the 8th inning of a big game.
Wow. Heart pumping, you think? Woo! 56,337 at Shea, the 6th largest crowd in the history of this ballpark. Just got a piece. Staying with the sinker. And Billy Wagner is up. Getting ready for a potential save opportunity in the 9th. Or perhaps even to throw a pitch here in the 8th if called upon. The Coneheads are back. Inside 3 and 2. You could see a scenario if Jeter and A-Rod get on. Maybe Wagner comes in to face Posada here in the 8th. Just got a piece.
Well, this is a good hitter up at the plate and fighting off 2 pretty tough pitches. 1 fastball down and in, sinking, and then a fastball sinking down the way. And the good hitters find a way to stay in the at-bat.
See if the rookie Smith has enough confidence in that slider, that 3-2, to maybe throw it to Derek Jeter. It would have to surprise him after all these fastballs.
Sinker's been diving. Yankees have been struggling. A loss tonight would drop them double digits out of first place for the first time since 1995. Pounded foul down to Larry Bowa. The Mets have thrived in close games this year. The Yankees have not. Look at that. Yankees 4 and 13 in games decided by 2 runs or less. The Mets 8 and 4, including yesterday's win. Mets 3, Yankees 2, top of the 8th. Jeter takes a clean 3rd strike. Joe Smith, welcome to the Mets-Yankees rivalry. You just struck out Derek Jeter. Mets-Yankees 2007 at Shea tonight, and everybody ready. First batter of the game, Endy Chavez makes his mark. Just the start of a big night for Chavez as the Mets played good defense behind Perez. Nobody could stop that one. 2-1 in favor of the Yankees when Chavez came to bat and parked one, his first of the year, to give Oliver Perez the lead. And a 7 2/3 terrific performance by Perez, backed up by a Joe Smith strikeout of Derek Jeter, and the Mets have a 3-2 lead going to the bottom of the 8th as Melky Cabrera moves over to center field. Bobby Abreu stays in the game in right. And on to pitch for the Yankees, Scott Proctor, hit in the number 1 spot as Damon comes out.
Scott Proctor, appearing in his 22nd game, appeared in 83 last year for the Yanks with 102 1/3 innings pitched. He has been a great workhorse for Joe Torre and the Yankees.
So Perez in line for the win. And David Newhan will bat for Joe Smith, leading off in the last of the 8th, looking for some insurance for Billy Wagner. And Newhan takes a strike. Newhan started the game at second base yesterday, had a nice day, 2 for 3 and a walk. To Newhan, who got the 9th inning rally started for the Mets yesterday with a solid single.
Well, Jeter thought it was outside. Let's see. Oh, too close to take. Too close to take, RJ.
And Greg Gibson rang him up. Proctor ahead 0-2 on Newhan. Getting a little tight.
Well, it was interesting to watch Smith go at Jeter with all fastballs. Also, in April, we saw a lot of experimentation by Willie Randolph with his bullpen. And things are starting to maybe shape up a little bit in these late inning kind of situations.
Newhan called out on a check swing. Chris Gucciani with a call at third.
I'm sorry. I disagree.
As we check out your Toyota National League scoreboard, the Cubs beat the White Sox this afternoon. The Pirates behind Ian Snell with the lead over Arizona. Washington and Baltimore tangling. The Phillies got 5 runs in the 5th inning after not getting hit in the first 4. There's a strike to Jose Reyes. Billy Webb is really showing off that new camera tonight, isn't he?
I think he's in hog heaven.
Reyes 1 for 3, singled and scored back in the first. Proctor misses. That Yankee bullpen has been so heavily used. Not as much the last couple of weeks because their pitching's begun to fall in line, but boy, the first month of the season, Joe was running out 4 or 5 guys every day, even to the point where he used Pettit in relief twice. And that's got to have consequences later in the season.
Well, that's one of the things you try to avoid as a manager, is overusing your bullpen. But, you know, if you're starting pitching this and getting it done, what can you do?
Not much you can do but bring up minor leaguers.
Yeah.
You got arms getting tired.
And that's part of the problem. 19 of the 39 games the Yankees had played before tonight have been started by rookies. And they'll have a rookie tomorrow and a rookie on Sunday. Reyes lifts one to left field, and Matsui is there. 2 out. In fact, Tyler Clippard on Sunday will be the 7th different Yankee rookie starting pitcher this season. Get to Shea the easy way. Take the train to the game. The Long Island Railroad from Penn Station or Woodside stops right at Shea, and the number 7 subway conveniently serves Times Square and Grand Central's Metro North trains. Mass transit is easier and faster. Get on board at Mets.com. Billy Wagner getting set for a save opportunity. He's been perfect so far this year.
Well, take it a step forward, Gary. Before tonight's ball game, Yankee pitchers, they are over 500 when their starter goes at least 6, 9 and 7. But that's only 16 times. I mean, 13 games out of 39 where the starter has not gone at least 6.
Well, Pettit went 7 tonight, but that may not be enough. As easily takes ball 1. Chen-Ming Wang, Mike Mussina both spent some time on the disabled list. And certainly their return has bolstered the Yankee rotation. Good breaking ball by Proctor, and it's 1-1.
Proctor has outstanding stuff. Throws 95. Great slider you'll see here to Easley. You can tell the Yankee pitchers are trying to go after Damian Easley with all of their breaking pitches. They hadn't seen many fastballs tonight.
Easily takes a strike, and it's 1-2.
Proctor just coming off you see Carlos Beltran on the on-deck circle. A suspension, suspended for 4 games for throwing at a Seattle hitter.
Breaking ball foul. That was that game where Josh Phelps ran over Kenji Jojima, the Seattle catcher. The Mariners responded by hitting Phelps with a pitch, and that should have been the end of it, but then Proctor retaliated again. It's always the guy who throws the last punch who gets caught.
That's right.
Andy Chavez has been the story for the Mets tonight, along with Oliver Perez. Two and two to Easley. These games are as heavily covered as postseason games. Crowds in the clubhouses before the game, photographers, live news shots from on the field. In there for a call, third strike, and Easley knew it. Finally got a fastball, but he looked at it. Second strikeout for Proctor, and Billy Wagner will come out of the bullpen for the Mets, looking to nail down another one-run win.
Bring your family to Flushing Meadows Corona Park Sunday, June 10th, the Walk for St. Mary's Kids and Family Fun Day at the Playground for All Children. Raise funds for St. Mary's Healthcare System for Children and enjoy Queens' most beautiful park. Join the fun at stmaryskids.org.
As the Mets continue the Subway Series with the Yankees this weekend, SNY continues its coverage with Nissan Postgame Live immediately following Saturday and Sunday's games, and it's only on Sportsnet New York. Billy Wagner, a hop, a skip, and a stroll in from the bullpen. And he has been just magnificent. Retired the last 11 batters to face him as he takes the mound tonight.
Well, as Wagner tries to push the Yankees 10 games behind the Red Sox, he's trying to reach 10 in saves. 9 for 9 in save opportunities, Billy Wagner.
Alex Rodriguez leads off the 9th inning. A-Rod hits one right on the ground to Reyes. One pitch, one out. A-Rod 0 for 4.
Well, A-Rod had a good cut at a fastball here, right down the middle. But it's a level swing. It's really a little bit quick there, Ronnie, but he hit a bullet. Good pitch to hit. And he's been struggling, and that's the difference.
Here's Posada, 1 for 2 and a walk. Posada now hitting at .373. He's got 4 home runs this year. He's only had 1 career at bat against Wagner, 0 for 1. Ball strike. Wagner's been very efficient lately.
He has been so consistent this year in throwing strikes with both his slider and his fastball and mixing them up more this year, Ronnie.
Yes, he's taking some of that macho out of his game, just trying to locate.
On the outside corner. And the head on Posada, 0-2. 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Billy says the slower he throws it, the more movement he gets. A little bit wide, 1-2. Hideki Matsui waiting on deck. He's accounted for all the Yankee offense tonight with a 2-run homer. Each team has had only 5 hits in this fast-moving game. 2-2. That was the real heater at 96. Posada is hitting well over 400 as a right-hand batter. It's a cold night at Shea. Temperature in the upper 40s. Struck him. from Wagner, 2 away.
Boy, you love to see pitchers elevate, right? Get ahead and then elevate that fastball out of the strike zone. Very hard for any hitter to lay off that kind of gas from Billy Wagner.
So the Yankees down to their final out in this series opener. The Mets looking to expand their lead to 2 games in the National League East and drop the Yankees 10 games back in the AL East for the first time in 12 years. Matsui takes the slider high. Matsui lined a 2-run homer into the Loge section and right in the 4th inning. Fastball a little high. 2-0.
Oh, nice patience there by Matsui. Good eye laying off that pitch. Gets himself now in a good hitter's count. 1 swing to tie it up.
Wagner behind 2-0. He threw a slider on 2-0. And it's 2-1 to Matsui.
Matsui will turn it up a notch when he in the fastball hitting count, and Wagner fools him, counters that move with that slider 2-0.
Well, you knew he was going to look middle in on 2-0, try to go deep.
Well, Wagner saw the at bat against Perez on 3-1 when he was sitting fastball. Can't paint the outside corner, and it's 3-1.
Gene Tenace always told me when Gene Tenace came over to the Cardinals late in the game, 1-run lead, you want to try to hit a ball out of the park here. Try to pull the outside pitch.
So if you're Wagner, do you go back to the slider on 3-1?
No, I go fastball, but just keep it down. Down and away is the key. Nothing over the inside part of the plate.
If Matsui keeps it going, Jason Giambi has come out on deck to pinch hit. On 3-1. Big chopper, easily. Not in time. Matsui beat it out. Willie Randolph will come out to argue. Larry Vanover called Matsui safe.
Well, great hustle by Matsui. And, oh, that's close.
Was Delgado's foot back on the bag? It came off. It looked like it came back on.
Well, I do have to say that it's hard to call this play, but Easley was a little surprised by the way that Matsui was getting down the line and did not get rid of that ball as quickly as he'd like.
So now Giambi, who has been struggling. 1 hit in his last 24 at bats. Slider in for a strike. Giambi's had 2 career at bats against Wagner, 1 for 2.
Giambi's hitting .293 against lefties this year, but he's been mired in a deep slump.
Playing with a sore heel. He's got bone spurs. He's got new orthotics in his shoes to try and take away some of the pain. But he simply hasn't been hitting, as have so many of those big Yankee hitters. But 1 swing of the bat, and Giambi could turn this game around. Wagner trying to get that final out. Slider fouled off. And now Wagner has the Yankees down to their final strike.
I'd like to see Wagner go up the ladder like he did on the strikeout to Posada, out of the strike zone.
Just missed. 2-2.
Good pitch from Wagner, just missed outside, but anyone who knows Jason Giambi, how good a hitter he is, no one commands the strike zone or knows the strike zone better than Giambi.
2-2 to Giambi. Good cut at that.
There's the fastball up. Now there's the difference. It's a little lower than Posada. A good cut by Giambi. Now you can go back down the ladder. I'd be afraid to throw a slider right here, Ron, and hang it with this guy.
Yes.
Just keep it away.
Robinson Cano on deck.
I'd be inclined to go up the ladder again higher. See if he'll fish.
Foul. Giambi hanging in there against Wagner.
You're almost in a situation, Keith, if you decide to throw a 2-2 slider, then you got to be brave enough to throw a 3-2 slider.
That's true.
You can't get in a situation where you throw a 3-2 slider, miss, and have to come into a fastball on a fastball count to Giambi.
And you notice how deep Easley is in the outfield at second base.
If you can make him shake off.
Slider missed. And now it's 3-2, and that means an automatic start for Matsui at first base. So on an extra base hit, it would be hard to keep Matsui from scoring.
Look how deep Easley's playing at second base.
And Gomez and Wright almost back on the warning track.
When you play that deep for the young right fielder, you got to come up with that ball quick, get it back in.
Tapper foul. This will be the 9th pitch from Wagner to Giambi. He struck it out, and the ball game is over. Billy Wagner saves it for Oliver Perez. Indy Chavez hits a home run and throws out a base runner. The Mets now have a 2-game lead in the National League East, and the Yankees, for the first time in 12 years, have fallen 10 games off the pace in the American League East.
Well, you never would call Oliver Perez Mr. Consistency, but maybe you got to start using that term because he has been outstanding this season in a big game. With a packed house, 7 2/3, only giving up 2 runs, and Wagner was not afraid to throw a 3-1 slider that missed, and he came back with a 3-2 slider against that strong hitter in Jason Giambi.
And Willie, of course, and there's the hero of the game right there, one of them for the Mets.
What a battle between Wagner and Giambi to close it out. 9 pitches, and Giambi hanging tough. But Wagner winning the battle on a 3-2 slider, and that's a huge loss for the Yankees, even bigger than it is a win for the Mets, because the Mets, with Glavine and Maine going the next 2 days against Rasner and the rookie Clippard, certainly have the matchup advantage on paper. Kevin Burkhardt standing by with one of tonight's heroes.
Oliver, another outstanding performance for you. How hard was it to watch in the 9th inning there?
No, I know this is a really hard game, no? But I was trying to make pitches, trying to be down the zone, so that was working tonight. And I know they hit me the ball hard, but I was down the zone and they hit me to the ground.
How much fun was it to pitch out there tonight? I mean, just the atmosphere, the fans. How much fun was it to be on the mound?
You know, that's my first time in this series, and you know that's fun. No, there's a lot of crowd, and that's why you have to be excited.
After you let up that home run to Matsui, it seemed like you really settled down. You only allowed 2 more hits. Did you just take a deep breath? What happened after that?
Yeah, no, you know, they have a really good hitter. No, you don't have to mistake too many balls, and you know, keep your team in the game.
Were you a little excited in the first inning there? It seemed like your emotions were a little excited. And once you got out of that, you kind of calmed down as well. Were you a little amped up?
Yeah, because like I said, it's my first time, and I have the Subway Series, and you know that's fun, and that was enjoyed.
How high is your confidence right now?
Yeah, I feel real good, and you know, Castro and La Duca, we're working together. You know, that's very good.
Ollie, great job. Thanks.
Thank you.
Guys, another outstanding performance from Perez. Back up to you.
And you know, it's always interesting. The first time a guy participates in these games, it's always a little bit more than they expect. And Perez said, first time out, he was a little excited.
Well, he was amped up, but another fine pitching performance. And I said it during the game, without his A+ stuff that he had in his last outing, when he went into the 9th with a shutout,
with less than A-plus stuff. He did a tremendous job, 7 2/3, only a couple of runs.
And Andy Chavez with the big hit and the big throw. What an impact he had.
Well, he's the difference in the ball game. Plus, give Willie Randolph credit there. That was a bunt situation. Pettit, a tough left-hander, and he had 1-0 count and let him swing on the pitch. Home run, 3-2 ball game.
So the Mets win it 3-2 to take the opener of the series from the Yankees. Back with more from Shea in a moment.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Sterling Mats and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mats.
Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Nissan and the next generation Nissan Altima. By Citi, let's get it done. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by IO Digital Cable, the leaders in HD and presenting sponsor of the Mets in high definition. Do you see in HD? In 2007, Hyundai, the Mets, and Sportsnet New York are teaming up to strike out cancer. For every K the Mets pitching staff registers, Hyundai, the Mets, and Sportsnet New York will make a donation to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund. If you'd like to help, please go to www.hopeandheroes.org. The Mets beat the Yankees 3-2. Time for a Panasonic Plasma replay. Panasonic for the speed of sports. Mets down 2-1 until Andy Chavez connected against Andy Pettit in the bottom of the fifth. His first home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and that gave the Mets the 3-2 lead.
The Subway Series continues all weekend, and so does Sportsnet New York's coverage. After the Mets-Yankees game is over, come back to SNY for complete postgame reaction. Nissan postgame live immediately after the games. Tonight and tomorrow, only on Sportsnet New York.
3-2 to take the opener from the Yankees. Our next telecast on SNY will be on Tuesday night when the Mets are in Atlanta to take on the Braves, 7:30 the start time. Coming up next, it's Nissan postgame live with Matt Yaloff. Mets and Yankees, game one at Shea tonight. Everybody ready to go, including Andy Chavez. First play of the game, he throws out Johnny Damon to set the tone. Mets played superb defense tonight. Hideki Matsui had the long ball for the Yankees to put them up 2-1. But David Wright robbed Damon. LaDuca got aboard, and Chavez made the difference with his first home run to give Oliver Perez a 3-2 lead, and he made no mistake. Billy Wagner saved it, and the Mets won it. For Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, and Kevin Burkhardt, I'm Gary Cohen saying so long from Shea Stadium.